silver instead of gold, and people refuse to play with her, and I think that's so bullshit.
Okay, counter argument. Everything is canon. Nothing is true. Everything is canon. Not everything is.
Oh my god!
Actually, can I say something really cool and fun?
What?
So in my town, we have a artist and her husband. They worked on like they got their Imperator Titan into White Dwarf.
Yo.
And
nice.
I'm dead serious about how big this thing is.
Hey,
what's up, chat?
Oh, I had a brilliant idea. Granted, this is technically stealing from another group, but well, borrowing. So remember how Adeptus Ridiculous did like a Titan draw art contest?
Yeah.
Idea. Why not do something similar for you, since you've got a lot of talented fans who do good art?
That would require money that I don't have.
You know what? Fair.
If I'm offering a competition, I'm offering a reward. And if I don't have a reward to give people...
Did you watch the video about their top 10 arts, though? Some of them were insanely good.
I wasn't able to.
I think they still have it on demand on the YouTube channel.
They probably have it on demand. But, hello! I did post the Titan model in the chat here.
I have just realized something hilarious. When I look at Abaddon's model, the way the torch he has is pointed right.
Yeah?
It looks like if his cape blew a little to the left, it would catch on fire.
That's
Holy
the best thing.
shit, that thing is massive.
No, you see, that's the best thing about Abaddon, because originally he was the armless, and now he's Abaddon, the incredibly flammable cape.
Yeah, the armless bit. They made the horrible decision with that model, making it metal first, and then they tried to fix it by making a fine cast, and then.
I mean, granted, it led to one of my favorite jokes of Trazen has Abaddon's arms in his vault.
Trazen has, like, what's called, when I read the Infinite and Divine, right? The last fight that they have where Trazen's just Pokemoning everything he has is the greatest ever.
Oh no, like my favorite line is Orkin going, "And I hope you brought an army," and he goes, "Orkin, you insult me. I brought 5."
No, he threw Ripper Swarms at a Catan shard. What a giga chat!
And
I
one.
heard Trazen has a uncorrupted group of Emperor's children in his vault.
He had
Sure.
untainted gene seed that he handed over to Fabius.
And in exchange, got a perfect clone of Fulgrim.
Yeah, so like, oh my god, I give like what 30,000 gene seed to some fucking maniac, and I get a Primarch. Hell yeah, baby, let's go.
I'd take that trade too.
But
Which is great for Trazen, but terrible for the rest of us, because now that clone will never come up again.
Yeah, Trazen's the perfect way for 40k to just wipe someone under the rug.
Like, literally. It should genuinely be called the Solemnus Fridge.
But yeah,
no, but also like how he in Cadia, right? The Cadian general who was about to die.
Castellan.
He just defeated him.
Castellan Creed, the man, the myth.
By the way, as I said, I did post the Titan model in the Vibe chat here.
It looked amazing. Actually.
Yeah, that thing is taller than me, and I'm 6 feet.
Jesus.
Good God.
So the artist who painted that, she also plays Imperial Knights and Yanari. So she painted her knights as Sailor Moon Knights.
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Hang on, chat for a bit. I'm too nervous yet to be in VC. You're fine, Apocalypse. It's actually you that inspired this stream. There is stuff that I want to talk about with 40k here.
Get the fuck off.
There is something that I want to talk about, and it's newcomers to 40k, and the toxicity problem within 40k, and that is slowly being like driven out, like we're slowly bleeding it out through new blood coming in. So like we're pushing out the old disgusting behavior,
asshole.
and it's slow. They're being incredibly fucking vicious, but like they'll be gone eventually.
Much like your average cancer, we need more radiation to drive it out.
Yeah, and
They're kinda
so
like root bugs.
as one of our chatters here, I'm not going to say your name, don't worry, pointed out, so they got their friend into Warhammer 40k. They painted up their army as Black Legion, but they didn't have the standard color template that Black Legion goes under, which most armies do not. Most people who paint up their armies, they do not paint their armies to be... They do not paint their armies up to be that specific color. When she went to go play, the weirdos said, you can't play because your army is not accurate. I didn't know this was a historical war game. That's Horus Heresy. And even Horus Heresy says paint them however you want.
As long as again at a glance I can tell what you're doing and what you're playing, I don't care what colors you have.
Yeah.
They can be unpainted for all.
The
They can be
people that say you can't play because you didn't do it right need to bite the curb.
So this, and then I heard I watch what's his name again? Circle Tunes, very funny content creator. There was something that he said that bugged me, and I know like he's not this kind of dickhead. When you make something for everyone, it's for no one. This is missing the point of something.
Not how that works.
So, wherever this line came from, when you make something for everyone, it's for no one. That's trying to appease everyone. When you make something, yeah, of course, not everyone's gonna like it. Of course. I can find people that don't like Mario. Like, it's just like, it's a platformer, I'm not into that. But Mario is accessible for everyone.
To everyone.
That's the point.
The idea is that anyone who is interested can come play, and they can decide for themselves if they're into it or not. And that is like when someone says if you make something for everyone, it fails. No. You need to make something accessible for everyone. I'm not saying like make it so dumbed down it's not interesting. But like
the only time that argument of when you try and do everything, you do nothing only works is when trying to please everyone and trying to stand for everything.
Yeah, and 40K is one of those really awesome games and universes where it tells you right on the front, this shit is horrible. Like this, like not like the game itself is horrible. Like the universe is grimdark. It is horrible. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are. Everyone is treated like shit. And every faction, no matter who you play as, and that's something else that bugs me, is that like whenever I say the faction is evil, everyone assumes I'm saying like everyone within that faction is evil. No, that is incredibly stupid. Like when I said that every faction in 40K is evil, the Imperium of Man, the organization, the Empire, is bad. The people within it vary.
Remember, folks, the Nazis as a party are terrible. Not every German agreed with them, but the ones that spoke up tended to get shot in the face.
Yeah. The Tau.
And so it's weird for people to be like, I'm not going to say anything because I like living. That's normal.
Yeah, but at the same time, one of my favorite things I've heard somebody say is if one person goes and sits at a table with 10 Nazis, or if a Nazi goes and sits at a table with 10 people and nobody leaves, there's a table with 11 Nazis.
Yeah, but so back on track here. Warhammer 40k has had a very bad problem with toxic individuals basically sitting at the table. And now that 40k has had a spotlight on it since arguably 2011, when Space Marine 1 came out. And this whole culture war bullshit around it. I need to, like, they have gotten so incredibly butthurt. They say that their space is being invaded, that their space is being taken over, but it was never just their space. These are games. These are tabletop games. These are models. These are books. This is a franchise. This wasn't theirs. It was GW's, and GW is a company that wants to make profit.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And ever since
I'm sorry to be like realistic and brutal here, but like, yeah, 40k is a
like,
40k is a game. It's
not even that brutal. That's honesty.
Yeah, it was never anyone's. This this entitlement is childish. It's extremely weird and childish. And just to let you all know, I used to think this way. I have not hid this. I used to think like a chud. I used to. But then
the difference is you overcame that.
Yeah, I overcame it. I educated myself. I learned, and I grew up.
Listen, if everyone has a phase where they're that 90s levels of edge that could cut themselves if they trip. Yeah. It's the people that didn't grow out of that that's the problem.
Yeah, so in there has been tons and tons of people lying, just absolutely taking the piss, and absolutely just trying to make this whole thing like DI culture war, the wokes are ruining everything, when that's not what's happening. Games Workshop
the moment
has
somebody
always
says
done
something's
this.
going woke, I'd label them as
It's buzzwords.
Incredible source.
Yeah. What these people don't realize is that if they end up doing what they want, which is making this game only for themselves, GW is going to lose profits, and they're just going to go, okay, and shut the door.
Yeah, so
like
I can go over the history of Warhammer 40k here, especially for newcomers. So Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader was released back in like what, 89? Hold on.
Yeah, like right about that
84.
time with the early 90s where
Wait, 84, sorry, 88. 88.
One sec. 1987. So, first edition Warhammer Rogue Trader releases 1987. The entire idea of it is that it's Warhammer fantasy with sci-fi elements. It is an incredibly different game than what 40k is today. Like, this game needed a referee, a dungeon master.
Yeah,
a one-on-one game.
40k.
Like, what the fuck? And then second edition came out, which
I think
basically
there's actually a Rogue Trader video game too.
Yeah, it's a RPG. But second edition came out. It retconned a lot of things from first edition. Not everything, but a lot of things.
We still have a few fun little details, like, Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau, that's still canon.
The Imperium was still there, but the Emperor was put on the Golden Throne. Remember, first edition, Emperor was running around. He was still alive. Then third edition came out.
He was actively crusading in first edition.
Third edition came out, which retconned even more stuff. Then fourth edition, same deal. Primarchs back in, like, third edition were, like, they weren't mentioned that much, but, like, there were, like, these incredible demi-like beings. Like, Leman Russ, he wasn't a Primarch when he started. He was a chapter master.
Yeah, he was. They just started as, like, great generals, and then later it's like, oh no, they were in fact the sons of the Emperor.
Then fourth edition came out, and fourth edition said that, like, characters like Ferrus Manus were alive, and then Horus Heresy books came out. Ferrus Man's no longer alive. 5th edition comes out, says the same thing. So these changes, these retcons, have been a part of 40K's history since time and fucking memorial for it. It has constantly been that way. All the time. It doesn't matter if it's dumb. Is it dumb? Is it incredibly lazy? Many would argue it is. And there's nothing wrong with arguing about lazy writing. And trust me, I find it kind of lazy too. It is.
if you are...
But at the same time, you can't say that this isn't normal for them. And then we get to where tons of people are coming in, they're trying to learn Warhammer 40K, and then they're just like, but I heard this, and then I have to sit here and go, yep, as I'm rubbing my temple and just listening to them. And it's nothing like... A lot of people think I'm hostile when, like, I'm talking to them. I'm really not. I'm just, like, I'm tired. I'm very tired, because it's the same tired points.
Imagine you have a child, and they walked up to you and asked, why is this thing the way it is? And you go, because this. And they go, why? And then you answer that. They keep just going, why?
It's the constant whys. And you're just like, I've reached the bottom of the well. What do you want from me?
I've hit bedrock. There's nothing more here. Stop digging.
Exactly. And so new fans come in. They want to learn everything. And then eventually, I like to say they hit a wall. There's just something there that's like, what the fuck? And that wall right now is the arguments that are going on. The fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as many of you may know, I do not like bullies. I do not like people in my hobby telling others what they can and cannot do. I do not like that. And if you say, oh, you can't have pink Space Marines, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
You can't have pink Space Marines. Well, now I'm going to have 30 chapters worth. Because you told me I can't.
Or if you're someone like me, you're like, oh, but they're not pink. They're actually this slightly off shade of fuchsia. Eat shit.
They're salmon.
Yeah, exactly.
It is extremely frustrating when trying to get somebody into Warhammer 40K, and then, like, where the creators themselves and me are telling people, do what you want, do it however you want. It's the game. It's a game. Have fun with it. Love it. Live it. It is a fictional universe where we said that anything can happen. Everything is true, and nothing is true. Like, that is a fanfiction writer's best friend right there. Everything is true, and nothing is true? Oh my god!
Their motto is everything is canon, not everything is true. That's great. That's perfect. You can decide whatever the fuck you want.
You want your chapter of Space Marines to be fucking gay cat maids? Fucking do it!
I would obviously be most scared of the Black Templar chapter.
You want your chapter to be the most grim, dark, we are butchers and murderers for the Emperor? Do it! You want your army to be orcs that found Metallica? What's stopping you?
Oh my god, fuck it, I'm doing that now.
Write that down later. Good job, boss.
I want to remind everyone.
Is crazy.
I want to remind everyone, 40K is just a thief itself. Space Marines are based off the Starship Trooper Marines. Literally. The Arbites are just Judge Dredd.
You can fill a book with how much 40K has stolen from Dune.
Squats?
People.
Squats and Eldar?
The book you could fill is called Dune.
The Squats and Eldar? They're just Tolkien dwarves and elves.
Cranked up to 11.
Let's take the worst parts of those two races, crank them up to 11 out of a possible 5.
You know what? I think it is time for an energy drink.
I think the most original thing out of 40K are the Necrons, and they originally were just Terminator ripoffs.
Exactly.
And that's the most original 40K.
That's the thing, though. People are always bitching that there's not any new ideas, and it's just like, how can there be new ideas when everything's already been done?
Yeah.
It's not like any new ideas, it's how you use them and how you do it.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
So now we get to the modern war. The culture war. This stupid fucking thing where
the kind of war that sparks people, I destroyed my $17,000 Harley because they decided they wanted to, appeal to another market. It's like, wow, good job. You've just destroyed your own property.
Something that I want everyone to understand is
13 cases of Bud Light because they put a tranny on it.
Hello from Germany. Hello from Canada. So I want everyone to understand this. I've been around here since 5th edition, arguably even longer. I played Dawn of War back when it came out, which was around 4th edition. So I want everyone to understand this very clearly. 40K nearly died. Like 40K nearly drove GW out of business back from the time of 2009 all the way to the end of 7th.
Hold still, you goddamn traitor.
What?
Sorry.
Can we not use slurs? I don't know who used a slur, so my apologies.
That is my apology. I was making a joke in poor taste. I apologize.
You apologize? It's fine. Moving on. Anyway, back to what I was saying. GW nearly died. Like, it nearly went out of business. Warhammer Fantasy was failing because their editions and all their stuff was just not being updated properly. People were losing interest. The CEO at the time, John Kirby, was not promoting Warhammer 40K. He refused to. He said that the best business model was to rely on whales. I.e., people that made massive purchases. That's what'll keep GW alive.
Yeah.
John Kirby sunk 2 businesses before he came to GW.
That he was going to be crazy enough to actually rely on the living animal creature that was a whale.
You know what? That's just as viable, to be honest.
John Kirby sank 2 other companies before he made it to GW. Then John Kirby stepped down and a new guy came in. This guy was a businessman. And this guy said, we need to expand 40K, we need to expand its market, and we need to make it more accessible. So, roll out 8th edition. The rules have been changed to be much more comprehensible. The gameplay has been simplified, so that way more people are invested in it. So that way, like, easy to learn, hard to master. And everybody starts back at basic. 8th edition saved 40K.
And
I am dead fucking serious.
I don't remember if this was around the same time, but I also know that despite 8th edition's best efforts, GW still had to cut things. They cut fantasy about this time, and people were upset about that.
Yeah. Like, the guy, he said, no, we're revamping fucking fantasy into AOS. We are making it as simple as 40K. AOS 1st edition wasn't popular. No one liked it. Then they released 2nd edition. It is now getting up there with 40K's popularity. It's not there yet, but it's getting there. Then 40K...
They have their own Space Marines, for God's sake.
40K kept growing. 8th edition, they were promoting it. They were making animations. Yes, I know that GW's legal team is a fucking nightmare. But here's the thing. It's still working. It's still growing. More people are into it. They stop letting companies make shovelware for them. So.
I just gotta say, thank you for letting me join. I got a dip. I don't know, because I'm new, if I can just, like, if you announce this again, that I can just hop in, or do I need to wait something?
I'll announce it, don't worry.
Okay, good. I just want to say, it was great talking to you. Huge fan, man. And thank you to all you lovely folks for having me. It's a great community. I love this.
But, Klepto, it's back. Old World is back. Your fantasy is back. You can have it back now.
Yeah,
and so... as well, GW's books are doing incredible now. People want to know, people want to play, people want to learn. And yes, Klepto, they are on the square bases. Don't worry. You're good. So, this has not been new. People were screaming that 8th edition killed 40k, even though the opposite is true. 8th edition saved Warhammer. It saved the game. Because the game grew more popular and popular. Yes, did it have problems? Massively so. I played in 8th edition. I played in 9th edition. I know the problems of those two editions, but they were infinitely better than the nightmare that was 6th and 7th.
Remember,
It's the same problem people have with D&D too. Is every time a new edition comes out, they get exactly what they were asking for, and then they scream that it's too different.
But now we are in 10th edition. 10th edition has been extremely polarizing for a lot of the older bloods in the game. Now, that's not meaning that every old blood is a dickhead. I have met plenty of old bloods and competitive players who say, no, this is infinitely better.
those are the ones who are generally good people and also a lot better in the game than your average chud.
What were the problems with those editions? So 6th and 7th, it was bloated. The entire rules was bloated. I could show somebody a rulebook from 6th or 7th edition, and it's not a fun game. It's not. It is incredibly counterintuitive and bloated, and like two units could have like very different rules, but to sum it up, they all did the same thing. Like what? And then
it's like when you compare 3.5 or Pathfinder to 5th edition, it's like, wow, those all used to be rules.
And lists were incredibly basic, incredibly spammy. And then 8th edition happened. 8th edition was the edition where easy to learn, hard to master. If someone could figure out a list, it became a Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh problem, where it's like the one deck is dominating the competitive. At the start of 8th edition, it was Trader Guardsmen, and it was just Trader Guardsmen, just spam bodies. Then after that army got nerfed, it was Imperial Guard and Knights, because you could bring them together. Then that list got nerfed, and then it was the Iron Hands Dreadnought list, which was, as put to me by a competitive player who placed like top 20 in Canada, I have an army of knights, all of them built to kill this dreadnought. I did half its wounds, and it restored about half of the wounds that I did. It then proceeded to kill a knight.
Yeah.
Wait, knight is in the towers? The building-sized knights?
Yes. This was a Leviathan. This was a Leviathan Iron Hands Dreadnought.
Yeah, and this is just power creep.
Good God.
And note, the list worked like this. So, Iron Hands book comes out. They have a special ability where they can turn a dreadnought into a character. And note, this is 8th edition. So, you spend 1 command point out of the 9 that you have, because you built the army to have as many command points as possible. You make that dreadnought a character. You give it a warlord trait. Actually, I can just... No, that warlord trait gives it a feel no pain and restore a wound. Okay, so now you have a healing, and you made it more tanky, because a Leviathan Dreadnought was the tankiest Dreadnought we could get. Then, you take a Tech Marine and Iron Father Cardin Stronos. They have 2 repair abilities, but since it's not the same repair ability, you can use Cardin Stronos' repair ability on that Dreadnought. Now that Dreadnought is your warlord, and it wasn't above 10 wounds, you could hide it behind infantry. So no one can target that dreadnought until all the infantry is dead. But then you bring in apothecaries to keep those marines alive and revive them over and over and over again. And then, oh, well, what if the dreadnought's the closest model? Well, it has a special ability where, yeah, this group beside me, you have to target them. Fuck you.
Yep.
Marines have 2 wounds. That is 20 wounds you have to blow through before you get to him. They surrounded this fucker with 5 squads of 10. So
Jesus
anywhere that
Christ.
dreadnought looked, it was killing something. All the time. Every time. And nothing could kill it.
Nothing is what it was.
Yep.
Gotta love min-maxers.
And then it was LV, like the biggest tournament ever. Las Vegas Open. The finals of that year was Imperial Fists versus Iron Hands. Imperial Fists were considered the 3rd best, right under Salamanders. And Salamanders were under Iron Hands. It was described as the unstoppable force meets the immovable wall in the most boring fucking game anyone's ever watched. Iron Hands still won, but it was the most boring game anyone ever watched. Which is...
But no one wants to...
Which, when you are trying to promote your game, you do not want anyone hearing that.
That's the last thing you want to hear.
Like, that same year was the year, like, Blue Eyes won Worlds. Like, think about that. When you
Blue Eyes has always been kind of unbalanced.
When you have a game, the one thing you want people to know is that, like, oh, this army won. Or this thing won. Because that drives people's attention. But when the announcers are saying, this is so fucking boring, that is bad. So that's why 9th edition tried to revamp everything.
The announcer's entire job is to be a hype man. And if they can't hype up what is essentially, I shoot you in the face, I tank it. I shoot you in the face, I tank it. Yeah, you've got a problem.
Yeah, so 9th edition tried to fix it, and then it had its own fucking problems. Oh my god, the balancing was a nightmare. Now 10th edition, they're still doing the balance checks, they're still doing it, but they figured out a way how to make the problem either minute or not a problem at all. Which is good, which is better.
With creeps in any kind of competitive game, the best thing a company can do is minimize it as much as possible. You're never going to get rid of it, because that's just the way things are. People who, no offense to the professionals, have way too much time on their hands or do this professionally will sit and just spend hours running the numbers.
Exactly.
And that's how.
But back to the main part here. So GW and its writers and everybody have been saying for years, your army is your own. Your models are your own. And they have been writing more stories involving more characters, and as well have realized that, hey, we are expanding into other markets. So, and the Imperium is a massive empire of humanity. There is no India, there is no China, there is no America. It's just humanity at this point. They don't even recognize those concepts anymore. Like, yeah, there's still, like, people from, like, Vestroya or Valhalla or Cadia, but they don't recognize people based off that. Like, they don't recognize people like, oh, well, what continent of Cadia are you from? They're just Cadians. They're all Cadian. If you come from the Cadian system, you're Cadian. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter skin color. Doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man or a non-binary. The Imperium is so fucked up that it doesn't give a shit about, like, debt to society. I guess this is, like, the most progressive thing about the Imperium is that they don't give a shit about who or what you are. To an extent. The only question is,
can you hold a land gun? And can you shoot it straight?
The problem becomes they see like, the Imperium sees the individual human as meat for the grinder. You aren't human. Like, they dehumanize you.
You are a cog in the machine, and if you do not do your job, you get replaced.
Exactly. That's the problem here. So when... And then people are like, well, we want to see more females within the game. Yeah, of course. Women who want to play the game want to feel represented. Like, guys, how many Chapter Masters or how many Space Marine characters or Imperial Guard characters or what the fuck ever have you made an OC for? I know I did. Who else? Raise your hands.
I did.
Anyone who doesn't, you're a
I've actually yet
fucking
to
liar.
Technically make it.
I totally did.
I haven't said I didn't make an OC. I said I've yet to make an OC.
Exactly. If you haven't already or
Right.
you haven't thought about it, you're a liar.
I put thought into it. Like anyone with a brain cell has, for the most part.
Exactly.
Or anyone with creativity. I'm not gonna say brain cell. Creativity. There are plenty of people who don't have any creativity in brain cells.
And everybody, I'm going to tell you right now, the only thing that separates you from, like, the only thing that's separating a guy and a girl biologically is not even these. Not even these, because men can have these. Men can have these. I have boobs. Am I proud of them? Well,
The only difference biologically between a man and a woman is the difference between a plug and a socket. And that's
exactly.
very crucial.
I was gonna say the number of holes they have.
Not
That's not
even.
all that
Hi,
accurate.
trans woman here.
Anyway,
Seriously.
women also want to feel represented. Everyone wants to feel
One
represented
debt to
one way or
society,
the other,
Miguel.
and they're going to build their armies to do that. And the writers of GW, Dan Abnett, Aaron Dembski Bowden, Graham McNeil, all of them are like, yeah, no, they've grown as writers. They've grown and have adapted their writing styles over time to be like, oh yeah, this would be normal. So
Gone are the days with the Bonkulaba.
I love it when I accidentally pop a fucking achievement. That's great.
yeah, so like, when someone tells you that they're ruining the game because they're bringing in more people, whether it be within the fluff or within the game itself, no, they're not. They're expanding the roster. They're giving us more, and it's not diminishing it. I asked somebody this. How does introducing female custodies take away from anyone? Well, it takes away from the Sisters of Silence. How? They do completely different jobs.
Yeah.
And you didn't
One of
care
my-
about the Sisters of Silence before. Why are you caring about them now?
One of my favorite new characters is a female custodian who won the Blood Games. She won the Blood Games by threatening to glass Terra.
Yeah. By the way, that's the girl that they confirmed in the book. And I need to tell people this. How do you introduce something? How do you introduce something?
You throw it in and say it's always
You
been there.
throw it in there!
Yeah.
Oh my god! No one built up to Darth fucking Revan! No one built up to him! He was just introduced in a fucking game. No one built up to him.
That was one of the
You
most
heard
popular
about the
characters in Star Wars.
You hear about
Yeah,
this
Revan
really
is
I'm
by
gonna-
far the most popular.
And I'm gonna spoil something for everybody. Revan is you. It's the player
Yeah,
character.
It's been what, almost 20 years? It's not much of a spoiler anymore.
So
Or
how
Law.
come is it fine that they just drop Revan anywhere they want? But this is the problem now. You don't you need to introduce a thing. Toriyama dropped Super Saiyan in randomly into the Namekian saga.
Was it?
Because he didn't want to color in the hair anymore.
I would defend slightly that if you look at it from an outside perspective, like before everyone knows what Super Saiyan is, he did a very good job foreshadowing it.
But then when you've been reading it,
Yeah,
it's
is
just
kind of
dropped
randomly
right the fuck out of nowhere.
randomly shown. It's like,
And
where-
a
why
good portion of it was
did-
because he didn't want to color in Goku's hair anymore.
Exactly. It saved him and his artists hundreds of hours. But that's the thing here. You can't have a thing if you don't introduce it. And I'm going to tell you something else. When you do build up to something, payoffs can be fucking lame, okay? Like,
Yeah, there's good and bad payoffs.
Arcs of Omen, the most recent 40k campaign, you have to read every fucking Dark Angels book to know what the fuck Vashdor is doing. And I used to love Dark Angels. But I can tell you, for a fucking fact, their books are dry. They are so dry, they are so fucking boring.
The best Dark Angel book to come out to date is about their Primarch. It's his most recent book. And you wanna know why? Because every Dark Angel in that book has a personality.
And then to hurt this even more, in Horus Heresy, most of the Dark Angels books are considered bad. The only one that's not is Angels of Caliban, which is the one where Gullime and Sanguinius are in it, including Conrad Kurz. And even then, half that book is fucking boring.
And again, the only reason why it's good is because, hey, we have a character with a personality. No one wants to read about the white bread or the normal toast.
But you want to know? But you want to know what those? You want to know what those books introduced? Essentially, 40k's version of the TARDIS. I am dead fucking serious. The Dark Angels books have the TARDIS in it, but the TARDIS is not some fucking some sort of foam box that some reincarnating alien inhabits. It's a goddamn demon hooked up into a child's body.
Weapon. It's a super weapon from the Dark Age of technology, and spoiler alert, so mute yourselves now, it's the reason Caliban's broken!
And guess what? The entire Arcs of Omen campaign is just hooking that up to another demon, to another artifact, to get Caliban, which is now Wormwood, into basically a mobile demon-making Death Star.
Now, is that really cool? Yes. Did I want to sit through 4 to 8 hours of staring at white bread?
Not even.
No.
It's worse than that. It's worse than that. I had to sit through tons of Dark Angels books and audio just to get told this is what it was building up to. So that way Vashdor has a demon world that can move. Oh my god! The buildup was so worth it!
The only good thing...
I've heard the name Vashdor before. I don't recognize it.
Vashdor the Archifane is the new demon. Like, the new guy, guy who's becoming, like, trying to become a god of chaos. Who, by the way, had no mention whatsoever until this point.
Yep, he just popped up in this
book.
So,
let me get this straight. The demon, who is the arms dealer of Warhammer 40k's Chaos Forces. He's the arms dealer. Never brought up before. The Demon Forge that he owns was brought up, but he never was. So this thing that came right the fuck out of nowhere is fine. But you mean to tell me that a female Custodes...
I was going to say, offhanded comment about women existing in the Custodes is where they draw the line.
It's like an offhanded comment of an organization who, again, I did the full research on, had maybe a paragraph addition. Like, per addition. Didn't even show up in 5th, 6th, or 7th. Wasn't even mentioned. Not once. Not once. Actually, no. They were mentioned in 5th edition as a tarot card.
Not to mention that there's this is a deep pull, but there's a rather hilarious line from Malkador way back in the Horus Heresy. He looks, I think, at Gilliman in the face and says, "I told your father."
Nope, I found this one. I have the book. It's called Scars. It is on page 81 of that book. I have the hardcover book, by the way. He basically looks at Dorn, because it's him and Dorn talking to each other, along with Constantine Valdor. And he says, basically, I made a video for it, but basically he's just like, I told your father to make you some sisters. He thought I was joking. I wasn't. And
it would have been...
It's incredibly frustrating. because like people are like, well, it's lazy. It's always been lazy. What the fuck do you want?
You've just been ignoring it because you think it's cool.
I can tolerate a possible new Chaos God out of nowhere, but I draw the line at women being in my games.
No, that's so active.
I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal cruelty. You can excuse racism.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly what they're doing.
And so
I absolutely love Community.
Once again, is it Community or is it the Office?
I've only seen clips. I know I'm like heretical for it, but anyway. So when this person in my
the popping the back of a raft will send you forward.
So someone in my server here just told us that like it was heartbreaking to learn that her friend is parroting these fucking talking points from weirdos online, where it's like women ruin the game. Women can't be in 40K. What do you mean they can't? What the fuck do you mean? How are they ruining the game? We've had Sisters of Battle for years.
Yeah, no, none of you complained about Sisters of Battle.
The Eldar have women in them. The Dark Eldar have women in them.
None of you were complaining about them.
Hell, I think I heard somewhere there's a unit of Dark Eldar that's exclusively women.
Yeah, succubi in witch cults. Like, witch cults have men and women in it, but
the Howling Banshees are exclusively women. They're an Eldar unit.
Oh no, that was retconned recently.
That was retconned? My bad.
There's a lot of things that get retconned real quick.
Welcome to 40K. It's a massive retcon. Like, they retcon stuff more than DC does.
I think
Gilliman's dead. Oh wait, no. 10,000 years have gone by and Gilliman's still alive.
And that I can name off the top of my head. That's
mostly dead.
I want everybody to understand this. These people, that is disgusting behavior. I know a lot of people lack the critical thinking skills to do this. But imagine this. You go into a store. You want to find a community. You want to find a good time. You want to have a good time. And then you're told you can't play because X reason. Not for anything you said. Not for any beliefs that you hold. Because you were this.
This might be a hot button, and I apologize for this. It's imagine for a moment, if you will, a time here in the lovely United States where you couldn't go into a certain restaurant because your skin was a little too dark. I'm not necessarily saying it's the same, but it's reading pretty similar.
It's incredibly pathetic. And this is how a game is killed, is this behavior. They want to keep it pure, but it's never been pure. It's never been that way. It's a product. It's a franchise. It is fiction. How does including 50% of Earth's population going to ruin a thing? The thing was nearly ruined when the other 50% were only present. What the fuck? And not even 50%.
Be awful. That's all they want, is they want a place where they can safely be awful. Because as much as they'll deny it, this is what they actually think.
And like what most of these people even saying this, none of them have engaged with Warhammer 40K at all. You can go through their Twitters, you can go through their content. Most of them haven't.
They're just jumping on a hype train.
And the ones that do, one of their number was banned from all GW events, including being blacklisted, because they deemed him too toxic. Let that sit in your head. One of these people that are parroting like women are ruining 40K, one of their boys, one of their people they put on a pedestal, isn't anywhere near allowed 40K. at any official GW event. He is neither contacted nor addressed at all. Not even close. Any group that associates with him, GW stays far fucking away from.
Yep.
And I need to tell you all something, because this is something where the Star Trek has this problem, Star Wars has this problem. Everybody needs to understand something here. When the creators are telling you that this is the thing, it doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what your opinion is. That's the thing! If they tell you this is a part of this, suck it up, princess. Fortify yourself. It is a part of it now. It doesn't matter. It is their fiction. It is their world. If they want to have a super soldier that is feminine or feminine presenting, if they want to have a giant fucking guy who's darker skinned, who speaks in dulcet tones, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. If they want to draw your mom pregnant, they're going to do it.
Hang on. I zoned out for a minute.
I'm getting you back on track here.
I was watching the cutscenes for the game. I got confused.
It goes both ways. We've seen what happens when a bad creator makes decisions about a universe and how badly that can blow up in their face. Not to name any names, someone that rhymes with H.W. Bowling.
Oof. But yeah,
Or,
we...
Whedon.
As I'm trying to point out here, it's their thing. No one is making them do this. They're choosing to do this. Because, again, I have to say this, it's smart business-wise.
At the end of the day, we have to
a fucking course they're gonna have women in the game. Why? Why would they have women? Because marketers have figured out that having boy and girl toy sections is actually kind of stifling to their market.
Like, yes, there was a time when I can hear some of you chodes out there saying, but they tried that before and it didn't sell. That was a long time ago, folks.
That was the
And as well, they were order only in a very specific magazine. Like originally you couldn't just go into stores to buy Warhammer. You had to order it. And then it got big enough. And then it got big enough where they could sell stuff in other stores. And then they got big enough they could open up their own fucking store.
I can go to one of my local comic stores, and I can find 40K stuff in there. And I live in a bumfuck nowhere South town.
But in
I live in the Bible Belt of America.
So, indifference. Here's another problem. How are they shoving it in your face? There's Mean Girls shoving it in your face, where the guy is, like, flamboyantly gay. GW just says they're there. They exist. It's not them literally shoving the model in your face like they did with the Rogel Dorn, where it's like, new tank! New tank! New tank! But that's a product. Of course they're going to shove it in your face. They're trying to sell you a product.
I can name one female custodian they have mentioned by name, and the only lore about her is she won the Blood Games by attempting to glass Terra. You know what? That's all that's about her. That's all the lore we have.
I heard the Alpha Legion started the Blood Games.
Yep, Alpharia started it. But anyway,
that's a whole other subject.
Yeah, guys, did you forget that, like, they're a company and they're a business and they have to advertise and shove models in your face? They were shoving Space Marine 2 down my throat. But here's the thing. Those are products they're trying to sell. And they're saying, like, yeah, and a part of this product, man, you can do whatever you want with it.
Oh, we lost somebody.
God, turn on the TV sometime and watch some commercials and tell me that companies do not shove their products down your throat.
Turn the ad blocker off.
Yeah, no, go to YouTube and turn your ad blocker off.
Just see how they shove it down your throat. All their products. They've been doing this for
just
years.
gotta watch Twitch for
but
5 minutes and they'll pop an ad on the side of your
And by
screen.
the way, I want to say this right the fuck now. This whole, like, with the female custodies thing. No one was shoving it down anyone's throats. One guy on Twitter who got the book early, who was Spanish, posted, oh, they have a female custodies. And then people who found that page, like found that guy's post, saw the page, translated it, oh my god, they are using she, her pronouns. GW wasn't shoving it down anyone's throat. They weren't.
It was a sentence.
No,
in
the
a
whiny
book.
man children were.
And then, GW then confirmed, yes, there have always been women within the custodies. On a Twitter post. Not a Warhammer community post. Not at an investors meeting. Not screaming it from the heavens. Not in a 5-gum commercial. It was
Twitter.
a
5-gum
Twitter
mention.
post from Warhammer Community's official Twitter. Where are they shoving it in your face? How are they shoving it in your face? The Cadian Major from Space Marine 2, she shows up maybe for like 2 or 3 cutscenes. How is that shoving it in your face?
She's there for one mission in your ear.
I'm like, they're shoving it in my face that we're an Ultramarine the entire game. The poster boys of 40k. I'd argue that's shoving it in my face. We're literally doing the Space Marine thing. They're shoving it in my face. But no, the egregious sin is that there is a woman and a man of color in the room. They're shoving it in our face.
Color.
They're just standing there.
Menacingly.
Fuck, Chiron, I wish he had more of a character. He's from Calth. He was in my, like, it's confirmed that he's in Know No Fear as a child. My favorite 40k book. Like, what? No, let Chiron speak. He was there. I want to hear what you know. They shove Space Marines down our fucking throat. Remember the meme of the Space Marine Lieutenant? For those that don't know, for a while, whenever GW had a new model, it was just a Lieutenant. Just another form of the same fucking model. Here's a Lieutenant with a bolt rifle. Here's a Lieutenant with a power fist. Here's a Lieutenant with a power sword. When Abaddon came out, they made the meme. When Abaddon came out, they played to the meme. We're releasing a new Lieutenant model. And then it was an Abaddon release. Because he's literally standing on top of a fucking Lieutenant.
Nice.
The 8th edition box was the HQ was two lieutenants and a captain.
My American ears cringe at hearing lieutenant.
Suck it up. That's how the rank's always been.
That's the point.
And yeah, there was a female
Even in the
Canadian
American
officer. Her name was
military, it's
Mira.
lieutenant.
And we don't even know her fucking skin color because guess what? The shades of the game were all brown and dust.
Accurate.
Yeah, she had a British accent. But
That doesn't make her white.
I want people to understand something here. Especially for newcomers. If anyone is saying female custodies can't exist, they're fucking stupid. They're ignorant men children. They're weirdos. The Emperor of Mankind literally lived as a woman at one point.
For how long, we're not entirely sure.
Not only did his wife, his son Magnus, who, by the way, they mind melded with each other, and Malkador, the man that was closest to him, confirm it, he confirmed it. And people are still saying that he didn't. He lived 1,000 lives. He can literally manipulate reality. He was so powerful that it took 4 gods powering up his fucking angsty child to beat him. Are you kidding me? He's so powerful, he can keep a portal from eating Earth while keeping a lighthouse alive.
Or being barely alive.
But making his penis into a vagina, oh, that's just too much. That's stupid. In a universe where fungus scream real loud and a giant green foot comes out of nowhere. Yeah.
Hell, even Destiny has trans representation with fucking Oryx.
And Micah 10.
Wait, the
And what?
Micah 10.
Wait, the Black Templars are racist? Not only are the Black Templars racist,
Okay.
all Space Marines are racist.
Yeah, but they're all Space Marines are racist. We're more referring to the Black Templar.
I am live on Twitch. For everyone on TikTok, I am live on Twitch and YouTube.
There's a certain amount of Black Templar fans that we don't like to talk about them.
And
They're part of the worst demographic.
I want...
Yeah.
This is part of why I am doing what I am doing for 40K. My goal, because, yeah, 40K is a product, but it also has a wonderful community. It does. It helped me through my fucking darkest days. Not the game, but the community within the game. It gave me a way to go play. It gave me a way to get out of the house. It gave me a community in which to enjoy. And I want everyone to have that.
Just remember.
And remember, being a part of a community, yeah, if you are being hostile or toxic to that community, no one wants you around.
Excuse me.
We just had somebody be toxic within the fucking Discord. Who made people feel unwelcome. Who made people feel like shit. And I kicked them the fuck out. After it was brought to my attention that they were doing so. Because guess what? One bad apple spoils the bunch. And that's not saying like everyone who's around them becomes that evil or that bad. No, it ruins it for everyone.
But it fucks up the vibe.
It fucks the vibe. The vibe check is off. The vibe check is gone. The vibe check failed. We're screwed. So instead of letting that fester, I kicked it out. Because that's not what I want. People don't know everything. People are new. Everyone is new. You are always going to learn something new. I'm learning new things every day. That Salamanders comment that I made, I was wrong on that. The people of Nocturne are all different ethnicities. All of them. They aren't coal black skin. That's a Salamander's thing. Their skin, like their gene seed, reacted to Nocturne's radiation, which was a whole part of an experiment the Emperor did that caused that. I didn't know that. And I'm the 40K expert, as many of you would call me. But being an expert does not mean you are all-knowing of all things. Oh! You're always learning something new. Even I am. Like, with Black Templars, for example, I thought that every fleet was led by a High Marshal. No, they're not. There's only one High Marshal, and his name is Helbrecht, and he sounds like this. Do you know where the Emperor of Mankind is? That's what he sounds like. I'm dead serious. I thought there were other High Marshals. He was just the highest of Marshals. No. There is the High Marshal, and then there are Marshals. I had to learn that. Hey, Devil, thanks for becoming a member.
Pen a little too hard. That's why he's the High Marshal.
And I'm willing to admit my mistakes. I literally screwed up John Grammaticus and Elanius Pius because my brain was so fucked from Death in the End Part 3 that I thought they were the same person. But when someone brought it up to me that, like, hey, they're not the same person, they're two very different people, I deleted the video and I made my correction. And now I'm having to go through everything again and losing my goddamn mind. Yay, I hate myself.
Don't hate yourself, just hate the others.
And then I want everybody to know this as well. Are there bad tabletop groups? Fuck yes, there are. Are there going to be bad people? Yes, there
Always.
are. It's a common part of life. You're always going to meet somebody who's a fucking asshole.
The important difference is how you react to them. We can all sit here and try and ignore them, or we can all kick them to the loser table to go sit and eat lunch with each other and piss each other off.
But I can guarantee that the majority of people, they are good. It's why, like, even in my Black Templar video, I say that there are good Black Templar players. They fucking hate the leeches that leeched onto their faction and make them all look bad. They fucking hate it. The amount of Black Templars players that are in my comments right now going, thank you! Oh my god!
Shit, I'd fucking hate it if a bunch of racists latched onto the Raven Guard. Like,
I mean, yeah, no, like we make like here in the 40K community, we make fun of each other all the time. One of my favorite things to call a Space Wolf fan is a furry because it's funny because of the wolf joke that always plays. I'm never meaning it in a serious notion.
I'm gonna give them
I'm
pugs
never
for
meaning
faces.
it maliciously.
furries are too powerful.
I'm gonna be real.
Between-
I would not doubt the fact that a lot of furries are Space Wolves fans. Have you seen the price of their fursuit?
Actually, surprisingly, a lot of furry fans are not Space Wolf fans.
Only Black Templars.
A few of them, yeah. But yeah,
I
so
heard of that too, which is
back
kind of funny.
back on track here. 40K, through its entire history, has been nothing but constant changes, constant, like, you go back in time, and Space Marines look nothing like how they look now. I will find...
They had beak helmets. Why do you think orcs call them beakies still? Because they used to have beaked helmets. It was the weirdest thing. I don't know why I don't know what exactly someone thought would be good about that, unless it was just, look at this striking silhouette, and I can't really fault that.
Well, also, you know, sometimes the older medieval helmets have that big ass beak. So
Actually, the Raven Guard still have those beaked helmets, I think.
yeah, some of the Raven Guard do still because it's named after their Primarch. It's the Corvus helmet.
Sorry, I'm finding stuff. Sorry.
That was the Mark 6 armor.
I like one of the comments, we need beaks in Space Marine 2.
I found
We
Marcus
do.
Calgar.
I want to rep the Raven Guard as hard as possible.
I need to find like 3 different versions of Marnius Calgar, I'm sorry.
Oh god, that's another comment, was the 40K saxophone marine. You know the meme. Most of you, if you've been around long enough, you know the meme. And if you don't, just look up 40K saxophone marine. I promise you, it'll probably be like one of the top 5. It'll be somewhere in the top 5. It's such a...
You want to... So
you
Marnius
could meme.
Calgar, he appears in Space Marine 2. He appears in Space Marine 2. Do you want to see his first version? Do you want to see how fuck butt ugly this version is?
Absolutely.
Ooh, yes, please. I want to see how they made this man look
Look at
absolutely
this
ugly.
fucking creature. Look at him. Yeah. That's the
Oh
chapter
my
master
God.
of the Ultramarines.
Shit, I don't have the stream put up. Hang on. Fuck. Where's the controller?
This is how 40K used to look like. Yeah, you could see it down here too. It looked incredibly awful. And then this is what it looks like back in 5th edition. Back during the glory days of 40K.
I vaguely remember
One
original
debt
like
to
old
society
Scarbrand
later.
minis looking just so ridiculous.
He looks like he looks overgrown and ugly.
He looks.
He looks stupid as
Look-
fuck.
Oh, there's a 30-second ad.
His
Yeah, no, look at
head.
that.
His,
Look at his head on that giant body. It looks so stupid.
It looks stupid. And now, get out of my face, ad. This is what he looks like now. What you see in Space Marine 2, that's what he looks like now. That's how much 40K has changed. That's how much 40K has changed over the years. He looked incredibly fucking awful.
Like old models of Angron and Scarbrand are butt ugly, but if you've seen the latest model of Angron, and like a fully painted version of it, oh my god, is it terrifying to look at? And I mean that in a good way.
We had some of the stupidest looking shit. It was incredibly 80s and 90s. But guess what? We don't do 80s and 90s art style anymore because guess what? It was kind of awful.
Is it funny to look back and go, look at how bad everything looked? But like, that's the point. We can just go back and say, man, that was ugly.
Yeah.
Look how great it is now.
I know incredible artists that have made some of the most beautiful and most awesome models ever. Even in my own town. Even in my own town.
Like if we want to stir the pot a little bit, the Pride Marines that made into the White Dwarf, how well those are done. Like, I've seen multiple people put up like, no, these are like really well done.
Oh yeah, that dude's on TikTok.
I'm dragging this out. So this got on to the official Warhammer community. I play Horus Heresy with the guy that made this. I know his wife. She painted my Magnus. They made this together.
That's the size of a full-grown person, mind you.
That's
Boss is-
taller
Boss,
than
you say you were,
me.
like,
I'm 6
yeah, you
foot.
said you were like what, 6'2"?
I fought against this thing, and I lost to it. And it took a man and a woman to do it, to make this thing, to paint it, to take the loving care that it needed. And it's fucking awesome. And then you want to know what else she did after that? You want to know what else she did after that? She made Sailor Moon Knights. I don't have a picture of them, but she did. So, a model that big was painted
Oh, I smell
by
food.
her.
My father must be cooking.
And these weirdos want to say that women aren't allowed in the hobby. Fuck you. They want to say that people aren't allowed in the hobby unless they meet a very specific and stupid criteria. Fuck you. It's a fucking game of plastic toys. It's army men with a rule book. It's a game. And people are getting death threats. I had my own head photoshopped on their disgusting cuck porn. Which, by the way, says a lot about them that they have that kind of shit saved on their computer. Nothing wrong with it, but why are you sharing it with us? And why are you putting my head on it? I have been sent death threats, but I have only received a fucking 10th of what other people have gotten for simply existing.
And no offense, boss, you actually go out looking for controversy.
I do. I'm the kind of person.
You stir shit.
I stir the shit. I'm the kind of person that will go up and slap somebody with a brick glove and say, "Prove it, motherfucker." Because, yeah, I'm an ally. And I'm the kind of ally that will stand up with them. And yeah, I've only received a fucking 10th. But then I need to remind everybody of something. These weirdos, most of them don't play the fucking game. Most of them don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. They think Custodes and Grey Knights are the same thing. They're not.
No, that's the worst thing about it. They don't even have the courtesy to get their fucking lore right.
And in the case of one of them, they couldn't even pronounce Custodes correctly.
And most of them don't even play the fucking game or go to the house, like leave the house. Most of them don't. They don't even have models.
They're just awful people who see a setting where they're like, I can be awful and there's no consequences because everything's awful.
They don't even have books.
Hey, I don't have to hide
One
the
of them,
fact I'm a racist.
One of them called me a fake fan because there's dust on my books. What? And now I know that not everyone wants to deal with it. Not everyone wants to put up with that. And to be fair, I fully get it. I had to like sit down and take a break after seeing my head photoshopped on a corpse. Yeah, that's disturbing. That's fucked up. And it's not something you want to see. But that is why I'm doing this. Not only do I love Warhammer 40k, not only do I love Halo and everything, I want to bring more people into this game to drown those motherfuckers. Because guess what? Yeah, a little bit of it's out of spite. I want to see them drown and be pushed out. I want to see them be pushed out of this game. But how I want to do it is that I want to bring more people in. I want to make my community something fun. Something to be prideful in. To be a part of a community that is so loving and accepting that we can all play the most fucked up factions and have a laugh. That's what I want to do. I want everyone to be a part of this community as much as possible. Are there people that aren't going to enjoy every aspect of it? No. Or can people afford the game? A lot of people can't. But I want them to be a part of it. I want them to be a part of this community. I will help you find ways to play Warhammer 40k. I will help you find ways to read the books. I will help you.
Fun fact, tabletop dollars, you can play Warhammer on that.
I want this community to grow, to be something where everyone can come in and enjoy, to give people that space that saved me, that made me into the person I am today. I want people to have that. So when I say Warhammer is for everyone, I am literally saying, if you are interested, you can try it, you can learn it, you can love it like I did. And if you don't, that's perfectly fine. Just because it's available to everyone doesn't mean you have to like it. I find people having problems with 40k is just having a different opinion. Why don't you like 40k? It's massive, it's expensive, I don't like Grimdark. And I don't like a lot of the art style, and I don't like the factions. Oh
I'm
my
a
God.
fan of 40k, and even I have to put down some of the stuff to go, God, this is too grimdark.
And that's perfectly understandable. Again, just because it's available and it is for everyone doesn't mean everyone's going to like it. And yeah, there are people that are going to go like, well, there are some things I want to see. But guess what? I want to see more characters for the Iron Hands. I want to see more characters for fucking Imperial Guard and Sisters of Battle. I want, just because we want things and just because we talk about it, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. And if I want those things, 40k has given me the tools to do it. Oh, you want more characters? Make your own. They literally have special rules called Crusade for you and your friends to play D&D 40K with the tabletop game. Oh, you want an RPG? Here you go. Yeah, like Fantasy Flight doesn't make the books anymore, but like they're still out there and available. There's tons of free PDFs. Go nuts. But I want more people in Warhammer. I want to have a laugh. I want to have a good time. I want to spend time with people. I'm an extrovert! Do you understand what it's like for me to sit at home alone every day? I'm going crazy! I wasn't even supposed to stream today! This is supposed to be my day off! But I love doing this! I love talking to people! I love learning people! I love hearing stories from other people! I love hearing about how someone fucking loves the orcs. I love hearing how someone loves the Dark Eldar. I love hearing stories of the games that they played. I have stories of 40K where I had a demon prince go up against like a squad of guardsmen. The demon prince of Nurgle, who in the fluff has entire armies fall to their knees dying on their lungs. Die because he rolled 3 1s against a lasgun. How funny hysterical. Is that?
Yeah,
this being who has maggots crawling out of it, who towers over mortal men, dies to 3 lasguns. That's fucking funny. Like, then there's my Chaos Lord standing atop a tower as he says, "Death to all who come for me!" And then has to hide behind a brick because a railgun shoots at him, and the save succeeds. A fucking brick. That's hilarious. But then there's also the epic moments where I had a dreadnought stare down an orc battle wagon with a death roller. That's a cement roller with spikes on it, and it's going 120 miles an hour. And it hits my dreadnought, but my dreadnought does not yield. It winds back, punches right through the cement roller, right through the tank, grabs its engine, and makes it explode.
Cement roller with spikes sounds very orc. It makes perfect sense.
Even though on the tabletop, basically, guy tried to run over my dreadnought, and my dreadnought punched it back. But it's a game of make-believe. That is exactly what...
the imagination.
Mechanically, I just punched the thing, but, like, when you think about how it played out, that's what happened!
Fun fact, D&D is just when you used to run around on the playground going, "I hit you with my anti-everything gun," and then your friend goes, "Nuh-uh, I have my anti-everything proof shield." The only thing D&D is, it just gave you a rule book, so you can now go, actually, the anti-everything gun trumps the anti-proof shield. That's all that is. That's all 40K is. That's all any of the
They
games
gave you a rule book and shiny click-clacks.
Yeah.
There is an entire... When 8th edition dropped, I got into Deathwatch. I played Deathwatch for a bit. I have a Black Templar's Deathwatch captain.
Fuck.
And this captain, with his Xenophase blade and fucking Storm Shield, had just killed killed a Fire Warrior squad, and then was charged by a broadside battlesuit. My brother looked me dead in the eye and said, "That captain is never moving again." And I'm like, no, you wouldn't. You would not jeopardize your anti-tank like that and not make it able to fire for the rest of the game. He looked me dead in the eye. I declare a charge. That captain and that broadside battlesuit were stuck fighting each other the whole game. The broadside couldn't hit me, but I couldn't hurt it.
I'm fucking sorry, a second Carnifex? I barely survived the first!
It was stupid. I was sitting there like,
Wait,
5 attacks, 5 attacks hitting on 2s, all of them hit, wounding on 5s, I got 2 wounds, but I'm AP -3. Don't worry, I got 4-ups, bitch! God damn it! My captain couldn't do anything! He was stuck there in hell! As this broadside was like, ha 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 ha! You can't defeat me, tiny man! I had orcs. I had orcs charge an entire night. I rolled 120 dice with 6s, creating more hits. I went positive. I had 157 attacks going into one night. And I killed it with a stick and a rock. Do you understand how fucking funny that is? That's hilarious!
That's great and powerful. Fun fact, knights are often referred to as god engines.
And
he killed it with a rock taped to a stick.
Back in my day, we had 2 sticks and a rock, and we had to share the rock.
Exactly.
And that's just the tabletop game. I DM'd multiple Deathwatch campaigns. There is an entire campaign where your Deathwatch squad is deployed to this civilization that is Bronze Age, and the Imperium wants to bring them in, and you can't kill them because then mission over. But in order, like, there are multiple ways to ingratiate yourself with them. They chose to become part of their tribe. So they were stripped of their power armor, told you weren't allowed to have guns or your power swords, and you had to use their weapons, which they forged for you, but they're Bronze Age weapons. They're terrible. And then you're supposed to go kill this fucking dinosaur. My Deathwatch kill team went after that fucking dinosaur, realized that, like, spitting on it hurt it more. Literally, the Deathwatch rules has a spit attack, because you spit acid. And so their apothecary, who's, like, getting held up by the dinosaur, he's flailing about and he's like, fuck it! Puh! Melted the armor so they could finally fucking hurt it. Are you kidding me? That's hilarious! There's another time where they're playing fucking where they're playing as, like, Only War, Imperial Guardsmen. They made the bag of nades. They made a bag o' nades. Literally. They got a hockey bag, they stuffed as many grenades in it as possible, and they're like, okay, there's an artillery position. Let's go.
The classic guardsman strategy. One bag o' nades.
And then, that's not even the stupidest thing. The stupidest thing is that during a Deathwatch campaign, each Space Marine has, like, their own unique thing that makes them unique. Raven Guard are sneaky. They're super fucking sneaky.
You know, they're like 8-9 foot tall walls of meat and 2,000 pound
They
armor.
got
but they're
captured by
masters of stealth.
They got captured by word bearers and were being brought to a fortress to be tortured. Their Raven Guard player looked me dead in the eye and say, I roll stealth. This is a hard -40, sir. Like, that's a 90. I roll stealth, sir. Crit success. And I'm sitting here as a player, as the DM, and I have to make a decision. Do I say this doesn't work? Because logically he's inside a rhino transport, there's nowhere to hide. No.
He hides in the shadows.
He's a shadow. He literally just moves a little bit. He blends in completely. The word bearers are confused. They have no idea where this motherfucker is. We had 4 assholes in here, and now one of them is gone! He breaks out. He gets all their weapons. He is rolling like fucking fire the entire time. And then he gets to his crew with all their weapons, and he's like, there, done. And by the way, he's laughing, but then when he needs to talk, he talks like the most depressed emo you've ever heard. Oh my god, is that funny? This man does the most badass thing I've ever seen and talks like he's a fucking high school emo kid. I was laughing so hard. And I'm the DM! I'm the guy who's trying to get him killed. That is so fucking fun. I want everyone to have that. A night or a day or a weekend where they can just go and have fun. Yeah, of course people just want to have fun and only think about the game. But we can't do that if Jason is being a prick. We can't do that if Marcus is being a cunt.
What do I do?
Yeah, I think I'm missing a reference here.
I'm literally just making out names.
Okay.
We all want to enjoy the game. But if the chuds are ruining it for everybody, no one wants to fucking play the game. No one likes it at the D&D table when someone says no to an action they want to do. I want to use my jump pack to jump up to the building. No. Why not? Because you'll break the building. Then that's the consequence!
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. That's why DM's favorite phrase is, "You can certainly try."
I literally...
No, you can certainly try as reserved for some dumb shit that's gonna end up happening poorly.
You can certainly try.
No one likes it when you tell them you can't do that with their models. No one likes it. Everyone finds that incredibly fucking stupid. You can't paint your Marines that way. It's not accurate.
But who?
Oh, but Michael over there can paint his fucking orcs as Nazis, and you're fine with that?
As I have heard from one person, you can't paint your figures that way. It's not accurate. Says who? Is your name James? Is this your workshop?
I'm sorry, who made you Horus Heresy?
Yeah. Who died and made you Horus?
Yeah, the D&D 40K games, there are 2 of them right now. Well, 3 now, because there's Maledictum. There's Fantasy Flight's Dark Heresy series, which encompasses Death Watch, Chaos Space Marines called Black Crusade, Only War, which is Imperial Guard. Did I say Death Watch?
I would love to play a D&D style 40K.
And Dark Heresy, which is like Inquisitors.
Yeah, I would love to play a D&D.
And all of them connect together. Then there's Wrath and Glory, which is a D6 system. And now there's Maledictum, which goes back to like the rule set of Fantasy Flight, but it's not done by Fantasy Flight. I don't see Emperor Warhammer in your name. But yeah, so why wouldn't I want people to have that kind of fun? I literally, like, another D&D story I have, my brother and our friends were trying to create their own Chaos Warband, literally. And my brother, as he's walking through this space station, like this chaos-infested space station, sees a dad casually hucking knives at his kid who's tied to a table. He's intentionally missing because the kid did something stupid. And this is, like, fucked up.
That's an interesting way to punish a child for fucking up. Okay.
So my brother's like, don't worry, I'll make sure this child remembers what he did and never do it again. Hello, sir, as this massive Chaos Space Marine is hovering over this man. May I discipline your child? Sure, why not? As this man knows that if he says no, he can just have his head crushed like a grape. So my brother grabs a sword. Yeah. Crit fail. He said he wanted to miss the kid. Sorry, sir, I do not know how to pay you back for your dead child.
Yeah, no, exactly.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
The classic D&D trope of I like to roll to hit the ground because you've been rolling shit all game and you might as well try anything to avoid the characters right? Because you rolled shit to grab the cliff you fell off of.
And you don't think I want more people to enjoy this game with me? Are you fucking kidding me? You can't play Warhammer like
Wait a minute.
you'll ruin
I had a
Warhammer because you're a
plasma build.
girl? What the fuck? You're ruining the game just by being a sexist prick.
Space Marine 2 has decided to say fuck you because I was using a plasma incinerator and now I've got a fucking bolter.
If you want to start reading, where do I start? I start with Dark Imperium, if you want to get into modern 40k. Dark Imperium is the best place to start. I know it's Space Marines, I know it's Gullymen, but it's the best place to start.
If you want to start reading the lore, Boss is right, Dark Imperium's a great place. If you just want to pick up a 40k book and just read it,
is this
the Infinite...
This is something that I want every newcomer to understand about me and understand about Warhammer 40k. It constantly changes. It is a grimdark universe, and it's fucking fun. And there are weirdos and losers that want to just ruin it for everybody because they're sad little shits.
But that applies to every fandom ever as well. So
yeah, and it doesn't make it right.
All in this.
I never said it did. I just wanted to put it out there that it's a normal facet of life, unfortunately, and we all have to do better to fix it.
Is it Gaunt's Ghost a good starting point? Yes, if you like Imperial Guard.
Good for Guard. If you want to read about a Commissar, go pick up a Caiaphas Cain book. Find a group you like, and just a quick Google search will probably lead you to books. There's a 3-part trilogy about the Night Lords, and they're horrible people.
And I want everybody to understand something. This doesn't mean, like, you have to go out of your way to go and attack a chud. No, you don't have to. Just play the fucking game. Welcome more people in.
Yeah.
If the chud starts opening his fucking mouth, you put him in his place. You all look at him and say, shut the fuck up. Because the second the chud realizes he's outnumbered, he cowers away. They think they have power because they try to dogpile people. But the second everyone turns their eyes to look at them, they cower away and go back to their basement and cry on 4chan.
It's that meme image of a bunch of people talking together in a group about something, and then some dude off to the left says something, and then we have that giant little stick figure who stands up, gives them a thumbs up like, cool, and they go back to their original conversation. You don't have to pick a fight with these people. If you don't want to pick a fight with them, the best thing you can do is ignore them. Like you ignore a narcissist. Because they just want attention.
Exactly. The best solution.
Their parents never gave them.
Exactly. And by the way, I saw someone asking you play Emperor's Children 10th edition. Yes, you can. They're just a little bit fucked right now. That's the only way you can play them. Basically, your army must include Lucius the Eternal, who I don't even think you can buy anymore. So, like, you have to make, like, a sword model. And, like,
wait, what?
Yeah, I don't think they sell Lucius anymore. I'll have to find it. One sec.
Well, that's a weird rule. That's a weird rule.
Well, like, it's most likely they're going to get a book, right?
I really hope they get a book and it comes with a Lucius the Eternal model if you can't buy the original.
Shame! The second they release Fulgrim, take my money. Take my money. Oh, it's coming too soon! Ah!
Oh, you have to play Lucius the Eternal. Please tell me they're getting a book and a Lucius model then if you can't buy the original. Don't be that bad.
Oh no, you're gonna have to make your own Lucius model. It's not that hard. It's just a guy with a whip and a power sword. You can do it.
Like, legitimately, it's a really simple concept to make until they release an official one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, he has a whip and a power sword. And
or you can probably find one secondhand. Like, they get Noise Marines, and Noise Marines are hilarious.
Noise Marines are the funniest Marines.
Sod Fulgrim, give me Doom Rider. Give me my coked up biker gang. But yeah, you can play Emperor's Children in 10th edition. Watching Valis come in and obliterate everything was epic, and picking up the standard. Hell yeah.
They need to make a Noise Marine model with a saxophone.
I want to peek up the Leagues
Yep.
of Votann, but I've seen that their start points builds are broken.
Do what?
Oh, wait, it starts to build and are... Like, high point cost versus low stat block. They're...
Oh, yeah.
Give me a sec. I actually did, like... I can break this down for you quickly. Or at least a Votann.
It's a fucking
So, the reason... So, their entire army gimmick is that when their units die, the things that killed them get a grudge token. Those tokens are permanent. They stay on that unit forever. And they stack up to 2. And it makes it easier to hit that unit and kill that unit. So with Leagues of Votann, you are going to have to get used to units dying. But they hit incredibly fucking hard.
It reminds me of older Sisters books where, if your sister squad has someone died in it, congratulations, that sister's now a martyr. The rest of your squad fights harder now.
They hit incredibly fucking hard.
Yeah.
Their infantry hits hard, they hit consistently, and you get rerolls, and you have characters that hand out free grudge tokens. Because fuck you, you pissed me off.
That's going in the book. Quote.
But yeah, so when I tell you for a fact that I want you in this game, that I want you to come play, I want you in the community, I want, like, whether it be playing the video games only, reading the books only, playing the tabletop only, or a mix of anything, I want you in this series. I want more people to come in and enjoy this fucking thing that I enjoy. I want everyone to enjoy the same game that I do. Because a game dies if it doesn't bring in new people. And I want to tell you something very fucking frustrating while I was going through 40K. Back then, back in the day, before like GW decided to move on and start like moving the story forward. It was the same fucking story every goddamn day. Every day. Nothing advanced. Nothing new. Same story. And it was getting boring. It's why War Machine was beating 40K for a bit. And now what the fuck is a War Machine?
Yeah, I was about to say, what the fuck is a War Machine, boss? You have proven the point. What the fuck is a War Machine?
What the fuck is a Sonic?
No. The Sonic fan's been growing. They've been eating good with the recent movies.
Okay, Dorito Buddy, Concord died because Sony didn't fucking advertise it, and it's another goddamn hero shooter. And yeah, the character designs weren't that good, but I can tell you right now, it wasn't because they were fat or women. It was just their design looked so fucking generic, and those costumes were bad ideas. What's my opinion on Warhammer Darktide? It's fun. It's a fun Left 4 Dead clone. Because that's what it is. It's a Left 4 Dead clone.
Darktide and Vermintide both Left 4 Dead clones, but they're both fun as hell.
Like, it's a horde shooter, and that's perfectly okay. It's a clone of Left 4 Dead, which is a clone of X, which is a clone of Y, which is a clone of Z, but there's nothing wrong with horde shooters. I love Payday 2. One of my favorite horde shooters. I love Left 4 Dead. Also one of my favorite horde shooters. I love Darktide. It's a fun horde shooter.
Someone asked.
My favorite thing about Payday is the music.
Someone asked me how simple is it to learn Kill Team? Allow me to show you how easy it is to learn Kill Team by showing you the light rule set that they released that are free to download.
Like, isn't Kill Team stupid easy to learn? Like, even
it's 3
smaller
pages.
normal.
It's 3 pages.
Oh, God, that's... Wow.
Compared to 40K's free downloadable rulebook of 90 pages. This is how easy Kill Team is to get into. This is incredibly fucking simple. And the starting asking price of a Kill Team, which is any fucking box you want, and they do have specific ones if you want specific ones. And I'm gonna go with the one that I want. I'm gonna go with the one that I want so badly. No, this isn't Canadian. It could vary from side to side.
Isn't Kill Team just a smaller scale version of the normal tabletop?
Yep.
Yeah, tabletop. Okay, that's what I thought.
The asking price is $90.
That's not bad compared
Plus
to
$40 for the
some
rulebook. Or the compendium. One or the other. And you can already download the rules for free. You just need the compendium at that point. So, $130 for a board game. What, like, most board games are going for like 60 to 200.
What a steal.
What a fucking steal, buddy. And then you can use these models for anything else. You can use them in your 40k D&D campaigns. You can use them in the other tabletop games.
That's the greatest thing about it. GW sells two things when you really think about it. They sell models and they sell paint. And everything else revolves around those two items.
I already bought a Combat Patrol. Is that still compatible? Yes! Kill Team has like specific Kill Team boxes for like specific Kill Team campaigns that you can play in, but those are very specific, and you can use the missions from that specific book for your games. You don't have to play like the new book is like Dark Eldar Mandrakes versus Night Lord Chaos Space Marines, but the missions in that book are for everyone. It's not just Mandrakes and Chaos Space Marines. It's for, you can use it for everyone. Everybody has like entire Kill Team rosters that they can use. Like,
here, pretty kitty, come snuggle. Sorry, I don't mean to throw off the topic of conversation.
You're fine. But yeah, like,
What a left field statement.
if you have a Combat Control, it's compatible. It's just 40k models that you need. And yes, I know Warhammer models are expensive, but guess what?
Buy secondhand.
The secondhand market is infinitely fucking cheaper.
And it is alive and well.
It is alive and it is well.
There are plenty of people
you
who
could probably order custom 3D prints. You just won't be able to run those in tournaments.
There are plenty of people who are trying to old models they don't use anymore.
There is no shame in buying models secondhand. No shame in it.
Plus, it might even save you some time on the whole not having to put together and paint.
Also, don't overlook boarding action. Seriously, it's 500 points, all infantry. You can play with graph paper. Yes! Oh my god, when boarding action came out, I just played with graph paper. It was amazing. And guess what? You don't even have to buy a rulebook anymore. You just need to buy a codex. That's it. The rules are free to download online. Because GW finally got through their fucking skulls that, like, hey, buying a rulebook every, like, 4 or 5 years is kind of annoying. And they were like, okay, then we just won't include any of the fucking fluff or any of the fucking artwork in it. Cool, thanks. I just wanted to learn how to play.
Yeah, no, that's great. GW could do this more.
I literally made a video. I literally made a video just the other day. Well, like last week. And guess what? Guess what, chat?
I need time.
Guess what, chat? Boom. A 9-minute video breaking down how to play the basics of fucking Horus Heresy. Which, by the way, has one of the best starter boxes I've ever seen in my life. $350 gets you 4 Tactical Marines of 10 men each, 2 characters, 10 fucking... It gets you so many models. You get a super tank, a dreadnought, 10 fucking Terminators, 2 characters, and 40 Marines, along with a hardcover rulebook, dice, quick start guide, special objective tokens, and everything you need to play the fucking game, minus a tape measure. And here is a basic guide for free on how the game rules play. Not the advanced rules, but the basics. There are tools out there to help you learn. And and as we end this stream, I am going to reveal something to you all. I have asked my community on Discord, which you can join. Just remember that if you're using the link tree on the TikTok, that you have to open up a web browser to do it. People, I have made a poll saying, should I break down 40k armies? Not just like a basic guide to how the army plays, but like what is everything within that army. Three people have said no. Probably because they're like, oh god, that's probably going to kill you. 37 have voted yes. 37 have voted yes to be doing this. To going through each and every book. So that way I can tell you guys how each and every unit works. So that way you know, and you have a quick guide that you can go back to tell you, is this unit good for what you want to do? This is what this unit does. So does that help you? That. And again, I do fluff on TikTok. I do games on my YouTube. Because TikTok is a very good place to tell people about how the fluff works, because it's very quick, it's very simple. It lets you know the basics of what you want to know, and then we move on to the next thing. And then YouTube is for more of the stuff that you want to learn, that you want to sit there and paint your models to. Or if you want to get models, where do you start? What's the best way to do it? Like what would interest you model-wise? Because not everyone plays the same way. Not everyone has the same. Everybody who has the same army doesn't play them the same way. I have met 5 Tyranid players in my life. None of them play the same way. None of them did. The best one that I know here, he never played Tyranid swarms. Never. He didn't want to deal with 120 gaunts. He just played monsters. He just brought Trigons, Warriors, Hive Guard. That's all he did. Not playing the same way. So, share this stream with your friends. Share my stuff with your friends. Anyone on TikTok, sub to my YouTube and my Twitch. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, sometimes Friday. I know this week's been very weird. I've streamed like every day, aside from Tuesday.
This has been an important week, to be fair.
This has been a very important week. But I want everyone to know you are welcome in this community. You are wanted in this community. Regardless of what fuckheads like the chuds from Twitter and their fucking weird and disgusting fucking spokespeople that don't even touch the fucking game have to say. Warhammer is not being ruined because women exist or someone with a darker skin tone exists in it. They ruined the game by being pieces of fucking shit. They ruined the fucking game. But we beat them by bringing in more people, by bringing in more friends, by bringing in a community that pushes that shit out. We don't need that smelly, disgusting pile of shit. That weird shit in this community anymore. And you want to know something? It would probably help the game store smell a lot better.
Excuse me, Jesus Christ, I'm so sorry.
Like, accidentally? That was so perfectly timed. Could make the game still smell a lot better. Proves the point, no offense. That's some comedic level timing.
So yeah. Thank you all so much for coming. I wasn't supposed to work today, but this is something that I wanted to talk about. Thank you for the follows. You're all wonderful. You're all great. I'm very happy to have more and more people join in and have fun. And are learning about this series and this game and this community that I love. And that I will fight tooth and fucking nail for.
Oh, the Twitch chat is...
And I will fight tooth and fucking nail for you. So, I love you all. I'm gonna go have a fucking nap. You all have a fantastic night. Goodbye, everybody.